So just after 2 weeks of saying why the bots are easier than every other enemy, I have come to regret saying this because it wildly made Joel mad. And as always, he comes clapping back and saying, okay, you think it's too easy? Bet. Here you go. We have wandering convoys with stratagem jammers strapped to the back of factory striders. We have devastators with shotguns strapped to their arms. We have hulks that walk around lobbing grenades at you. I've even heard rumors of an even bigger factory strider that's kind of like the Bile Titan holes that spawn factory striders, so it's a factory strider, though I personally haven't seen that one myself. But they definitely ramped up the difficulty of the bots. In the last patch, they specifically noted that they changed their AI and they should get less distracted with each other and more focused on taking down Helldivers. And I have found that to be true. The old tactic of just running right through a horde does not apply nearly as much, especially with all the fire. As well as their accuracy seems to have gone up, they are way more deadly, and the ragdolling is back in effect. Here's a clip of them dropping just a regular bot drop on me, so I decide I'm going to stand here, hold my ground, and take them all down. Before, this would be no problem. As you can see here, it quickly becomes a problem because the explosions keep ragdolling me, preventing me from just mowing them down. This is a good thing. It is annoying. Ragdolling has always been a little annoying. However, in this case, it has increased the difficulty 10 times. And I also want to make it clear, I am not asking for nerfs. I'm not asking for changes. I enjoy the extra difficulty. This is what I want. I've seen people already asking for them to nerf this and take this away. And I know it hurts to hear, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. But if you can't handle level 10 difficulty, stop playing on level 10 difficulty. Don't ask to take this content away from other people. In addition to the upped difficulty of the bots, we also got a lot of other small things with this patch that are all going to add up to a big difference. We saw more uses of the exosuits, we saw some buffs to weapons, especially like the Eruptor, which has now become a heavy penetration weapon, which is kind of cool, and a lot of the machine guns saw some small buffs in damage, but that damage buff will be seen over the course of multiple bullets. The barrage tank finally got some weak points added, which I think was very much necessary, and they changed the way that the ship call-ins work for both bots and the Illuminate. They have put more armor on there. Now, we assumed this meant you couldn't one-shot them, however, I was shooting them down with a spear in one shot, so I don't know if it's just like the recoilless rifle. I don't know if I was just hitting them in the right spot still. However, they are supposed to be harder to shoot down, which will add another layer to the gameplay, and with the Illuminate, they will now fly with their shields on, so the SAM sites won't absolutely wreck them, which means that the Illuminate will have more numbers and more swarms than before, which again will add to the difficulty. We also got some announcements about a new war bond, which is shown here, the Borderline Justice. It's got very Star Wars, Mandalorian, cowboy kind of feel to it. I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to be the meta. I don't think it's going to be the best weapons. However, I do think it's going to be some of the most fun you're going to have in the game. I'm personally excited for the Deadeye. I'm personally excited for the laser revolver, one-shot, big iron. It seems like it'll be fun. However, especially against the Predator strain and now facing the Fire strain, typically you want more bullets, so weapons that are firing slower don't always hold an advantage, which is why I don't think it'll quite be meta, but we'll wait to see. Kind of the same thing with the jetpack that they're offering, compared to the current jump pack that lets you move away from enemies, this just kind of flies you up in the air and you hover, which seems like it'd be good for getting some free shots off, but also seems like you'll just fall down into a swarm of enemy if you can't eliminate them, and that's, will spell your doom. So again, I don't think it's going to be meta, but not everything has to be the best. Not everything has to power creep, and not everything has to be the most powerful on launch that makes it so everything else has to be even more powerful. That's how you get annoying power creep, as long as it's fun, and this looks like a lot of fun. Also, an interesting little patch note I think a lot of people overlooked is they said they fixed a bug where the thermite grenade sometimes wasn't arming. There's long been standing a rumor that you can't just throw their grenades, you have to hold it for a few seconds for the spikes to deploy and then it'll stick, and other times it won't stick. It seemed like it was always random and it was kind of just like a community myth, and this seems to confirm it, that it doesn't have anything to do with holding it until the spikes come out. It was rather a bug that was just randomly causing it not to stick and not to ignite. It looks like that has been fixed. which is again very useful because you're going to be using those thermite grenades like no other to fight the flaming bots. Now, how do you fight the bots? Obviously, a whole tips and tricks video is probably necessary here. However, I want you to jump in, I want you to have fun. So we're going to discuss a little bit here because the last few games I've tried against these bots, I have watched players who are at level 100, 120, 150, seasoned vets who say the game is too easy get absolutely wasted by these guys. They were not prepared in the least for it. We saw the same thing happen with the Predator strain, and for the most part we've seen people adapt to it, so I have no doubt within a week or two, people are going to post tips and tricks videos, people are going to kind of figure it out, and it'll go back to a more manageable difficulty, but let's talk about it. Obviously, the fire-resistant armor is going to be the most powerful tool you can use here. It will greatly reduce the damage that you're taking, give you more survivability, and if you're wearing the heavy armor, help reduce the ragdolling and help reduce all the problems you're going to run into here. If you don't have it, I might suggest something like bringing the extra stims because you're going to need it. But if you have it, the fire-resistant armor is a must. Here, I brought the fire-resistant armor with the double-edged sickle. That combo is, of course, notoriously fun and does a lot of damage, and it really helped to clear out large hordes of enemies, and I was already on fire, so hey, I'm already on fire. I might as well keep firing and taking bots down. I sucked up stims like a Hoover vacuum. However, I was able to clear out hundreds of enemies with this tactic, so it was effective. Tip number 2, because the fire stays on the ground and has a far range, you are going to take much more damage than usual. That means whereas before you could just run through like hordes of enemies, that's not happening anymore, and you could avoid kind of getting shot or maybe take some glancing blows and just stim through it. They can actually flame you through stims. Like, you will go down even if you have a stim active. I saw that happen multiple times. So mitigating damage is the name of the game. That means bringing things like the personal shield generator or the big shield relay, things like smoke screens to help reduce the damage. Anything you can do to help reduce the amount of incoming damage is going to be absolutely necessary here. That means that utilizing cover and effective tactics is also going to be a must. Remember, like the Predator strain, this is supposed to change the way you play the game, and that is what it is doing. So if you do what you've always been doing, that is not necessarily going to work. You need to adapt to it. That's why you see me using the spear here. I recently made a video talking about how the laser does everything on the bots and does it well. However, with the flamethrower, these guys are so in your face so fast that I didn't think the laser would be the most effective thing here. I brought a spear for a little bit more long range taking things down, and I was very glad to have it because I don't think the laser cannon could have handled some of the huge swarms that we were dealing with of just so many heavy units, especially now that those Hulks will launch grenades at you that can ragdoll you, so you can't just stand there and shoot them in the eye. They will fight back this time. One of the other units I forgot to mention, but you've probably seen on the screen, is the little guys that used to just have like the jetpack brigade that would just jump up to you. They gave them flamethrowers, and those flamethrowers have reach and they still explode when they go down, which makes them a huge threat at a distance and a huge threat up close. Again, it is changing the way that you need to deal with the bots, and I am here for it. It is so sweet. The only thing I haven't gotten a huge amount of experience with is the Convoys, but it is really interesting and I hope they do more things like this. It is a limited time event. The Convoy will show up on the map as so, and it will walk a predetermined path, and you have to take it out, and it will leave. Like, it will just walk off the map and you will lose that objective because it leaves, which gives you some time-sensitive time pressure. So where you land actually matters a lot more. Like, do you want to land right next to it when you're fresh and take it down as soon as you start? Do you want to land farther away from it so you have all your gear called in? You can set up a trap and an ambush. There's a lot of options with it, and I think that's great, and I hope we see a lot more objectives like this that do a time-sensitive sort of ordeal. And now that we got this, I know I also recently made a video on how the Illuminate are kind of boring. If they do something like this for the Illuminate that completely shakes them up, I'm here for it and I want it. And again, I want level 10 to be a challenge. There should be a real risk to losing a level 10. I know that's frustrating for people. I know that some people don't enjoy that experience, and that's why you can go play a level 8 or a level 9 or a level 7. Again, please don't ask for nerfs for something that doesn't need to be nerfed. Some people enjoy the difficulty, and because we have so many different levels of difficulty, I think it's okay for some people to be able to say, I can't handle 10s, so I'm going to play a different level. I know that's a blow to the ego, but everyone should be able to enjoy the game, and I am super enjoying this. If you've experienced the Flame Brigade yet, leave your comments down below. Tell me your favorite story of how you got barbecued. Tell me what you're excited for in the Cowboy patch, and anything I missed. There was actually a lot in this patch where everyone thought it was just going to be a small kind of mid-month patch, actually turned into a whole lot of crazy things. So anything I missed, leave it in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.